All right, shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rachakodash, giving double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Peace and salutations to the Akim, the brethren out there on the highways and byways, pushing this truth in 100% sincerity. And peace and salutations to the few and sincere sisters who believe in this gospel. All right, so I want to entitle this lesson, It Matters How You Respond. It matters how you respond. What do I mean by this? It matters how you respond to when things don't go your way. Again, specifically speaking in this truth, knowing this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures, and responding to things in the proper way when things don't go your way, when the outcomes that you hope for are not favorable. Everyday life shit just kind of, goes left. You know what I'm saying? And it matters how you respond to when things go left. It matters how you respond to when things don't go the way that you intend, or whatever ideal that you've had in your mind. It matters how you respond to that and what you do as far as in relation to this truth. Because one thing we got to understand that we're going to go through things. We're going to go through trials, tribulations. Things are not going to go our way. We're going to have sometimes unfavorable outcomes, and a lot of times it's just things completely out of our control. You know what I'm saying? You may be thinking, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is this always me? It's always me, right? When you're in this truth, you understand that the main thing that we have to go through is trials and tribulation and chastisement, right? Not to tear us down, but to build us up in the spirit, to build us up in the faith. So when we go through things, man, when outcomes are not the most favorable in our lives, how we respond to that in relation to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, in relation to this truth, is a very vital and important thing, because you do have people who are in this truth. When things do happen to them, when tests and trials do come about, they get weak, right? They get weak and they fold. And next thing you know, they back in the world. But that's 9 times out of 10. That's usually because they didn't have a full understanding of what they were involved in, and a full understanding what they were committing themselves to, right? When you come into this truth, you commit yourself to the end, no matter what happens to you. You know what I'm saying? No matter what happens in your life, no matter what goes on, no matter if friends, family, women, wives, whatever, depart from you, or whatever happens, you lose jobs, money, possessions, material things of this world, whatever happens to you, when you come into this truth, you've made a vow and a commitment that you're going to endure into the end, no matter what, right? And that's a very strong thing, right? You got the parable that Yahweh Shah talked about of the seed that landed on good ground and the seed that landed on the other ground, right? So let's start here at Matthew 13 and verse 3. And it says, "And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no Salakia. Some fell upon stony places, where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of earth. And when the sun was up, they were scorched, and because they had no root, they withered away. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But other fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, some 30-fold. Who have ears to hear, let them hear, right? And this is talking about those who come into this truth, as he's going to explain in the next few scriptures, right? Verse 10, it says, And the disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto parables? He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given, right? So when the elect are going to get the mysteries of this truth, of the scriptures, of the kingdom of heaven. The elect are going to receive that understanding. You know what I'm saying? And the elect of the nation of Israel, Yasha Allah, are going to understand that when you come into this truth, you're going to have to endure hardness. You're going to have to endure hardships. You're going to have to endure situations that are not the best. You know what I'm saying? Things are going to turn out good for you sometimes. A lot of times things may turn out unfavorably, but it's to build us up, right? You never become great at anything unless you go through adversity. You never become good at anything unless unless you're challenged. You're challenged by adversity, hardships, and overall just going through something, because you got to go through something to gain something, right? I can't remember, what was it, Aretha Franklin? No pain, no gain. No pain, no gain. You know what I'm saying? That song, right? No pain, no gain. And that's the same thing in its truth, right? It ain't no pain. It ain't no gain without no pain. You know what I'm saying? We don't gain faith and get built up in the spirit unless we have to go through something. Unless we have to go through tests, trials, tribulations. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. That's just how it is in this truth. You feel me? Verse 12, it says, For whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken away, even that he hath. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Esaias, which saith, By hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and seeing ye shall see, and shall not perceive. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed, lest at any time they would see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. Right? And basically what he's saying here is that certain people the Lord just don't want. Certain of the nation of Israel the Lord doesn't want, which is why they can't get the understanding, knowledge, wisdom of the scriptures. That's why they don't get this truth. You know what I'm saying? This is why you see so many Christians and those who follow the Christians on what they say about us. And that's why it's so simple. You know what I'm saying? Their explanation of the Hebrew Israelites is so simple, but when you truly understand this truth, you know how deep this thing gets. Right? See, these people are just on the surface. You know, especially these bugged out Christians. They're just on the surface, and they can't even see. They don't even have the eyes to see what's on the surface. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't even see what's truly on the surface, how can you go any deeper than the surface? Right? Verse 16, it says, But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your eyes, for they hear. For verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. One of those things being the prophecy coming to pass of the destruction of this kingdom, this Edomite kingdom, right? Now, verse 18, it says, "Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth it, it's like it, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catcheth away that which was sown in his heart. This is he which receives seed by the wayside," right? So, you might get somebody who is, we see this all the time at camp. Somebody had come up, a Jake man may come up, and he may be listening for a period of time, and then next thing you know, here come his woman, you know what I'm saying, running up behind him like, let's go, like why are we listening to this? Come on, let's go, let's get out of here. Like, I'm ready to go, I want to go, this and that and everything like that, right? And you know what I'm saying? And everything that we just said that went in one ear and went out the other, the truth wasn't for him. Even though one time it was a Jake, he was listening, and his woman came up to him and he was like, "Hey, look, go back where you came from. Go back over there. I'm doing something right now." You know what I'm saying? He actually happened to be a Christian, but he told his woman came up a couple of times. He was like, "Look, go back over there. We discussing some man stuff right now. We're discussing things amongst men. Going back over to, going back over across the street, or going back to sit in the car or something like that, right?" Verse 20 says, "But he that received the seed into stony places, the same as he that heareth the word, and anon with joy receiveth it." Salakia. "Yet hath he not root in himself, but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended." This is where you see instances where, Jake get overzealous and he go tell everybody that he a Hebrew Israelite, and now he see, you know what I'm saying? And which is nothing wrong with telling, your family and close friends that, this is what you believe and this is the way that you walk, especially people who you've had close relationships with. There's nothing wrong with telling them that. You know what I'm saying? But just understand that certain people aren't going to receive it. Certain people aren't going to receive it well. And you may lose friends, family members. You might have a woman and you going to camp every week, and she feel like, even though she come up with in her mind, you know what I'm saying, because you've been studying, you've been in the scriptures, you're going to camp every week, you're doing videos. Now she feel like time is getting taken away from her. So you know what I'm saying, now she talking about leaving you, and she talking about doing this and doing that, or she putting hell on you because you in the truth, and you know what I'm saying, you into the word, and she essentially just sucks you out the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because she threatening to leave. You know what I'm saying? She, coming home late. She doing particular things that's putting worry and doubt into your mind. You know what I'm saying? But if you're truly of the elect, if you're truly a strong man, and you're rooted in this truth, you're rooted in the faith, well, you just gonna chunk it up and be like, all right, well, she can go ahead and go. If she want to leave, she can bounce. No matter how it feels to me, this is what's more important. This word, this ministry, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and how pleased he is with me, that's more important to me than whether this woman stays or not. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it says by and by he is offended. Right? Some people, like for example, at Great Millstone, we bring out the truth of Deuteronomy 22 of the grape doctrine, and we bring out the truth of ancient customs of, a young woman, a woman who was of a young age, right? A woman who is just reached puberty, right? Around 12, 13 years old, and she becomes of marriageable age, right? Let's say family members hear about that, and they know that you in the camp called Great Millstone, and that's something that we teach. They can come to you and start talking shit about you. You know what I'm saying? Calling you a grapist, calling you a pedophile, a pedo. You know what I'm saying? Saying this, saying that. Oh, you with this cult and y'all like little girls? Nigga, something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? You could be at a family gathering, and a nigga and a nigga just coming like, nigga, you a weak ass nigga, you like a little girl, all type of shit. All type of shit could come up to you, could happen to you in that circumstance, right? The question is, are you gonna fold, or are you gonna remain rooted and grounded in the faith and what you know to be true? Because fuck what these other people think. Fuck what these niggas in the world think. These niggas in the world don't know shit. And niggas get emotional, you know what I'm saying? When they hear particular things, niggas get emotional because most of these men out here, most of these dudes out here like bitches, right? They do the same thing bitches do. They hear something that is unsettling to their feelings, and not a nigga wanna, you know what I'm saying? Not a nigga wanna get emotional. Same shit that women do. Something is unsettling to her feelings. I said this in the last lesson. She didn't hear what you said. She's paying attention to how she felt about what you said. And that's what she's going off of. That's why you have situations where you're talking to your girl and you said one thing to her, and then you said a whole nother thing. You like, motherfucker, I didn't say that shit. You know what I'm saying? But that's because that's what she felt. When you said what you said, she felt like you said this. You know what I'm saying? She felt like that this is what you said. Even though that's not what you said, but that's what she felt. And that's what a lot of these dudes out here, that's how they react to certain things. You see it with these camps and how they react to that doctrine and that I don't even want to say that doctrine, but the breakdown of those scriptures and the breakdown of that ancient custom coming out, which came out through Great Millstone, and you see how these other camps reacted to it. You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna jump camps because this is something that is taught, right? Verse 22, it says, he also that receives seed among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the care of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becometh unfruitful. Right? Are you too worried about what's going on out here in the world? Are you too worried about worldly things that you let that interfere with the truth? Are you too worried about these things and then you let that take you out the truth? You know what I'm saying? Your job is to be rooted in this truth and continue in this ministry no matter what, and do it to the end, because it's a reward at the end. Like when you run in a marathon, you don't get the reward if in the middle of the marathon you just jump out into the sideline jump off to the sideline talking about, man, I can't do this no more. You ain't getting no reward. You ain't getting nothing coming to you, right? Verse 23, but he that receives seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also beareth fruit and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60, and some 30. So those who receive good seed in a land on good ground, those are the ones who are going to endure. Those are the ones who are going to continue on in the truth. They're going to continue on in the faith and do what Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has called them to do. right? This is the book of James, chapter 4, and verse 13. It says, Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow, we will go into such a city, and continue there a year, and buy and sell and get gain. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your life? It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time, and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that. But now ye rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. Right? So, this is why we say, Lord willing. This is why when we see the brothers, or, you know what I'm saying, you're on the phone with a brother and we getting off the phone with each other, we say, hey, Lord willing, I see you at camp this weekend. Lord willing, I see you at class. Right? Because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen. Especially being Israelites. Number one, in this captivity, and number two, in this truth. Or really, number one, in this truth, and number two, in this captivity. Like, you don't know what's going to happen the next day. You don't know what's going to be in store for you tomorrow. That's why we say, Lord willing. You know what I'm saying? Even in my personal work experience, like this week, everything was going, I be having, like, I do a particular route where I'm running to Virginia and Pennsylvania, and it's an overnight run, but I try and plan it out to where I can get to where I need to get to early, get loaded, leave there early, get to my first layover spot early, get to my delivery early, get to my next delivery early, get to my next pickup early, right? And it never works out. Like this week. Like, I've done this route since I've been back at this company. I've done this route 4 or 5 times. It's never going how I planned it. Never. It's never going how I planned it. And this one, I thought, all right, it's going to be smooth. It's going to be smooth this week. This week is going to be a smooth week, right? I get up to Chicago, pick my first load up, get there early, leave early. I get to my layover in Ohio early, get there. Then my first delivery that's in Virginia, I get there and they ain't got my next load ready for me. So I'm sitting waiting. I gave them my phone number. I told them, hey, when it's ready, call me. I go find somewhere to park. I'll fall asleep and get no call. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to take a chance and go up there because we got an HOS clock. Those of you, you drive trucks, you know how it is. We got an hours of service clock. You know how that go. So I got to start my clock again and risk going up there. They finally had it ready. So I'm like, I'm irritated, but then I'm like, all right, I can salvage a little bit of time. I can salvage something, right? Get to Pittsburgh, drop my load, and then I'm going to pick up my empty trailer, hook up to my empty trailer, and boom, got a flat tire. And I only got 2 hours on my clock. That was the next 2 hours I was going to try and run to get to where I want to get to. And it take about an hour and a half, 2 hours just for the service people to get to me. I'm like, man, fuck it. Fuck it. That's how I was feeling, man. Fuck it. Hey, look, I can't control it. Everything that happened was out of my control. It was nothing I did wrong. I did what I was supposed to do. But just things that was out of my control, these things happen. You know what I'm saying? Things are not going to go our way all the time. Things are not going to go how we intend for them to go all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you got to realize, especially being in this truth. How you going to respond to that? How you going to respond to, you know what I'm saying? You meet this little fine Israelite sister. She fine, she beautiful. She look good to you. And you know what I'm saying? You take her in marriage. and you living a happy life with her in the truth. You going to the ministry, she being the helpmeet, she being the pillar of rest. You know what I'm saying? Then boom, all of a sudden, she fall out the truth and she leave you for a nigga in the world. How you gonna respond to that? How are you gonna respond to that? You just thought you had it good. You thought you had, you know what I'm saying? You thought you had an Israelite family going on. And boom, it's just gone. Like that. You've been with her for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? You spent a year and a half not dealing with women, focused on the truth, and you finally, you know what I'm saying, you got something. The Lord gave you a woman that was, you know, beautiful, feminine, soft, upright. And then boom, she just fall out the truth and leave you for a nigga in the world. You was in love with her. What you gonna do though? How you gonna respond? You gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep moving forward. You gotta keep going. It might sting, it might hurt, might be disappointing. It might make you feel like, damn, why my situation? But it was only for the time that it was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't meant to remain in the truth. You were. So that's why I entitled this lesson this. It's important how you respond to the things that the Lord puts on your plate. Because again, man, not everything is going to be favorable. Not everything is going to be to our liking. It's going to be a lot of things that's going to be challenging in the spirit. It's going to be a lot of things that's going, you know what I'm saying? Hey, it could take us by surprise sometimes, man. It could take us by surprise. You got to understand and know that when you come into this truth. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 2, starting at verse 1. It says, "My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble." That's very important. That's a very important thing to know and understand, is not making haste. You want to make you know what I'm saying? You got some hell that just came upon you, and now you want to make a quick decision. A quick decision rooted in the flesh, you know what I'm saying? So you can try and get out of this tribulation as fast as you can, when really it's just, sometimes it's just nothing you could do. There's really nothing you could do at the moment. And you just got to endure it and stick it out until the Lord brings you a better situation. Right? And sometimes it'll be the Lord is proving you to test if you deserve a better situation. You know what I'm saying? Because you can respond poorly to certain things. Start bugging out, getting mad, getting upset, blaming brothers, blaming the truth for certain things that may happen in your life. That's not how we're supposed to be. That's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to look what it says do. Verse 3, it says, "Cleave unto him and depart not away, and that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state." Right? Whatever is brought upon you, take cheerfully. You know what I'm saying? That's how we're supposed to do this thing. We're supposed to take these things cheerfully, man. And by saying take these things cheerfully, meaning that we don't not to say that we're necessarily happy about it, but it's just like what the saying, take it on the chin. You're just taking this tribulation on the chin, man. It's all you can really do. Just take it on the chin. And be the best that you can be as far as being in this truth. That's really all you can do at that point. Endure. Endure tribulation. Endure the fire of adversity, right? Verse 5, it says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity, right? We got to go through adversity to be acceptable to the Lord. We got to go through things. We got to go through hardships, tribulation to be acceptable to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's what we got to do, you know? But, so look, man, I'm gonna end this video lesson here. The point has been made. So look, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ruach HaKodesh. And until next time, Shalom.